Hello and welcome to Thought for Thursday, which is a segment of Leveling Up the podcast. I'm very happy to have you here with me today on this Friday Eve. I talked today about the need for clarity, and the caption specifically said, "Help, I need clarity." When we are absolutely bombarded and overloaded with decisions that have to be made in our personal lives, in our professional lives, things can get incredibly overwhelming. We think we know the best decisions to make, and sometimes in reality, it may be the easiest decision, the one that we have to put the least amount of work into. And then somewhere along the line, when we make those types of decisions, it always comes back to bother us. We realize that we really aren't operating in our best capacity. So, what is it that we can do? What should we do when we are absolutely overloaded with having to make a decision that may affect us, that may have a domino effect and affect others, either in our family, in our sphere of influence, on our jobs? How is it that we can just get clarity, gain clarity? And I wanted to talk about this because I realize that there are so many people out here who find themselves in this spot right now. Let's face it, things are happening in the world unlike anything that we've ever seen before. And you couple that with just the regular everyday decisions that are common to us as women, and we really can get a little lost. And if we're not careful, we really do fall into a pattern where we're not giving things our best yes, where we're not doing what's best for our advancement, what's best for us in the long run. In many instances, what's best for us in the short term. So, as usual, I'm coming to you tonight on Thought for Thursday to give you some tips. Specifically, I have 5 tips for you if you find yourself in the predicament that I'm referring to. If you find yourself in a spot where you really need clarity and you don't know the first place to start. So, what is it that you can do? What's one of the very first things that you can do? Take a pause and breathe. I know you have been just probably wheels churning nonstop, as though you're a hamster on a wheel and you don't really know how to get off. And it's real easy. Sometimes the best things that you can do, or the best thing that you can do, is to just slow down. Take a moment to pause. When you're bombarded with decisions, your mind can become so clouded. You can become so heavy. You can be so cluttered in your head, as well as your life can really be stressed. Take a deep breath and give yourself a moment of just stillness. That stillness may be taking an afternoon walk. Perhaps it's sitting in front of the TV and even letting the TV just watch you. But give yourself that pause that's needed where you're not feeling the stress and strain of having to write anything, of having to do anything, of having to take care of anybody, of having to worry about what's going to be done the next day. Just give yourself a moment to breathe, to listen to your breath, even. It's amazing how calming it can be to just sit, take that pause, do absolutely nothing, and just listen to yourself breathe in and out. You'll be amazed at how quickly that can really calm an anxious mind, an anxious body that's responding to an anxious mind. So, yeah, take your time. In this quiet space, you're going to be better able to listen to that voice, to what's in your gut, to that intuition that you need in order to make the best decision. All right? So pause, take a breath. That's my first tip. What else? Well, you can also make sure that you give yourself some time to sit somewhere and document your value. Identify what your value is, first of all. And then perhaps you need to write some of that down. Knowing what you stand for and what's important to you acts kind of as a compass. And we all know that if we need direction, we can refer to a map or a compass or some kind of guide. Well, identifying those values really can help to be your compass when you're making those decisions. So spend some time just kind of reflecting on your core values. What's important to you? What are you passionate about? What's important to you in reference to your family? What's important to you in reference to your day to day life? Important to you regarding your well being? What's important to you as far as the community is concerned? As far as how you live your life? What are your values? All of these things, of course, as I've already said, are important to you, but they really do act as your compass because the decisions that you make, you're going to want them to align with what's important to you in order for those decisions to be the best ones for you. All right. So we've said two things already. Pause, take a breath, give yourself a chance to just sit and just mindlessly do absolutely nothing, to sit and gather your thoughts, gather yourself, listen to yourself breathe. Identify those values because those values really do act as your compass. A third thing that you want to do is go ahead and break things down. Yeah, break them down. Break down large decisions because large decisions can seem absolutely insurmountable. When you look at the big picture, it seems as though you will never be able to cross that mountain. You won't be able to even get to it in your mind for many of you, much less track a path to get across it or around it or to avoid it altogether. So break them down into smaller bite sized pieces. You've heard the saying, you don't eat an elephant in one bite. Well, the same thing with your decisions. Don't try to totally inundate your mind, totally inundate the process that may already be a little difficult with some decisions or with many decisions that you may make. Don't overwhelm yourself by trying to take on the whole thing at once. Break them down because it really can be overwhelming and complex. So break them down into the smaller, more manageable pieces. List out the options. If I make a decision and if I go in this direction, what option does it give me? If I decide to go in another direction, does that option, do the possible results of that decision, would that be a little more favorable for me? Write it out, break it down, and then start to kind of map out what each decision may lead to for you, or each choice may lead to for you, depending upon what it is you're trying to come to some resolution on. Sometimes, seeing everything even laid out clearly can automatically kind of give you that jolt that's needed to push you in the right direction to get to a decision that you may have been laboring over forever and a day when you were looking at the whole big picture. Breaking it down and writing them out and seeing exactly what your options are can often help to push you in the right direction. Sometimes almost automatically it comes to you. You understand exactly what it is that you need to do. So, recapping again, pause and breathe, identify those values. Go ahead and break down things. Don't try to do everything all at once. The fourth thing I want to tell you to do is seek support and perspective. It's all right to ask the opinion of others. Make sure you seek wise counsel. People who have perhaps had to make the decisions that you need to make. People who have successfully made the decisions that you've had to make. Do the research. Perhaps you need to venture into an area that you have never dealt with before, and you're overwhelmed by needing to make a decision because you don't really know what all it entails. What are the possible outcomes? What's involved in deciding to pursue something or not deciding to pursue something? So do that research. Get as educated on the different pieces of the decision that you need to make, what the results may be, how it is that you go about getting the results, how it is that you carry out whatever it is you need to do. Make sure that you're educated. Education can definitely break down many of your fears. The fear of the unknown is a huge one. Go ahead and knock that fear aside by getting educated. Remember, you are the expert. You need to be the expert on your decision, right? You may not be the expert in the area that you're making a decision on, but you certainly can be educated so that you're moving in the right direction and work your way into being the expert that you may need to be if it's something that you have absolutely no idea about. Get educated on it so that you can know how it is to go and know what's best for you. All right. So we've paused, we've taken a deep breath, we've identified our values because that's our compass. We've broken things down so that this mountain doesn't seem so insurmountable. And we have gone and we've looked for perspective. We've got sought wise counsel. We've done the research that's needed in order for us to make our decision. And the last tip I have for you is a big one. And it's one that we frequently don't pursue or don't do because we feel inadequate in some ways. We feel as though we don't have the knowledge that's necessary, or we really can't be the authority on what it is that we're doing. And that last thing you need to do is to trust yourself. Trust yourself. Believe in your ability to make the right choice. You really are able to do it. We often doubt our decisions, because of fear, of uncertainty. And I've already said that. I've already talked about the fear of the unknown. Remember, chances are you have faced tough decisions before. You may look back and say, yeah, and I didn't make the right one. But even though it may not have been the right one, you learned from that, even if it was just not to go in that direction again. You learned that there is a better way. If you've made a tough decision in the past and things have worked out well, then yeah, definitely look back at that. Take some factors from that. Either way, whether you have seen your decisions as being successful or unsuccessful, know that you have gained something in the process that's going to be able to lend you, that's going to be able to help you in making decisions that you have to make right now. Nothing is should be taken for granted. I always talk about plugging into your journey. You've learned something, you've done something that you can learn from. Lean into that, pull out of that, glean what it is that you need, and use that in making your decision. Remember, you have to trust that you have the wisdom and the strength to make the best choice for yourself now. All right? You know better than anyone else what is best for you, what feels right, what will make you happy, what will allow you to pursue your passions and your purpose and your dreams, and what will allow you to get into the place that you need to be in order to succeed, or in order to gain things or do things. Financial platforms may need to be in place for that. You may need to have a certain network in place for you. You may need the support of even something as simple as someone who can help you in the evenings if you're having to care for an elderly person, or you're having to do daycare of some sort, or grandchildren or children. What is it? Who is it? Where is it that you can go to get the support that you need in that area so that you can carry out the decisions that you need to make, or the decision that you want to make regarding something? All right. So the bottom line is your gut will definitely lead you in the right direction. It will definitely give you the the compass in many respects that you need to go in the right way. So take that breath. Do whatever it is you need to do to be able to sit and to clear your head and to clear your mind and to clear whatever other clutter you have during the day, during the morning, during the week, whatever it is, so that you can put yourself in a posture to make a good decision. Make sure you can identify those values and that whatever decision that you're making, the values can be seen in them. Make sure that you're doing the research and seeking wise counsel. And you're breaking down those decisions so that you're not overwhelmed by making a huge or going in a major direction without looking at the smaller pieces to it. Believe in you because indeed you are equipped to make the best decision. So, 5 tips for gaining clarity. 5 tips that you can implement right now. Something quick, something that's going to hit the spot, that's going to hit exactly what it is that you need so that you can progress and do what it is that you need to do and get out of the fog of being overwhelmed by having to make major decisions. All right. Thanks so much for listening in. Remember that Thought for Thursday is now a part of Leveling Up the Podcast, and you can hear it on your favorite listening platform, wherever it is that you listen to your podcast, and definitely on the CTR Media Network, where I navigate my podcast from, all of the admin. All right. Checking to make sure that I'm not missing any comments. Thank you again so much for listening. Make sure that you go out and be yourself, knowing that only you can be you. You are the best person to represent you. I want to thank those of you over on Instagram who are listening. I see Sean's over there, and I see that Tina is over there as well. Thank you for listening. Hope that you've gained some nuggets that you can put in place. Go out and touch something. Be courageously and boldly yourself, knowing that you are needed, not just to make a difference for yourself, but a difference in the world that so desperately needs the touch that only you can give. All right. I always load this up also on YouTube. So if you missed it right now, you can definitely see it over there by tomorrow. And the YouTube channel is under my name, Alethea Tucker. Go over and subscribe and see some of the other things that I have over there as well. You guys go, make it a great evening, make it a great weekend, and we'll talk again soon.